Hello and welcome to Sexo TV's virtual fireside chat. Today we have the privilege of hosting Saurabh Gupta, the Chief Technology Officer at FroGo, to discuss on very interesting frozen food market as a topic. Welcome, Saurabh.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you. So, to kickstart the conversation, would like to first ask you that how do you see the frozen food market evolving in India, and what are some of the notable trends you are observing in this industry?
When frozen food market in India is booming big time, and it's seeing the significant growth across all the major regions and states of the country. Uh, and the main reason is convenience. The way the new generation is coming up. The family, most of the folks are working, and end of the day they need convenience. So that is fueling the growth of frozen food market in India. If I talk about numbers, then it's going at the rate of 15 to 17% per year. And by 2028, we expect this market to grow up to USD 4 point something billion dollars. So there's a huge potential when it comes to frozen food, market in India. It includes ice cream and non-ice cream categories. And lately you would see a lot of brands venturing into the frozen food with, the snacks, and like full meals are also coming as frozen. Now, what are the factors which are fueling? One of the things that I mentioned is convenience, and companies like us, we are solving the infrastructure and the cold supply chain problems. So this is what giving the confidence to the frozen food producers to go out and distribute more and more items. So in a nutshell, these are the factors. And apart from that, there are several other factors. There are awareness within the consumer base. They want to try out the same flavors when sitting at home. These are the factors which are taking this market to the next level.
Yeah, sure. Those figures are quite interesting, and seems like it's really picking up well. Uh, okay, so what are the key challenges? Like we were talking about the supply chain when it comes to the distribution of frozen food products, and especially most of the time it should be perishable items. So
Correct.
and how are you overcoming these challenges to ensure product quality and freshness?
Sure. So, the challenges of for the frozen food brands are have this in nature. One of the things they would always fight is the awareness around the frozen food brands, because I think one of the perspectives which in the Indian landscape is quite prominent that frozen is not healthy to eat. And day by day, as in when the awareness programs are held, now that the trend is shifting from perceiving frozen food as non-healthy to something which is healthy, and knowing that nuances that what component food makes them unhealthy, how to handle the frozen food, so that food safety and food security is becoming one of the points, talking points for the frozen food brands. They are reaching out to the consumers through different channels, social media programs, and are teaching and educating the consumer based how to handle the frozen food when they are handling that at home. This is one of the challenges which the historically brands have been facing. The second is the infrastructure. And infrastructure connects back to multiple other challenges as well. If I'm as a frozen food brand, if I don't know what is my demand, I won't be able to produce in the right proportion. So the lack of infrastructure restricts them to distribute the frozen food and reach to the target audience. And when you don't know how much is the demand, it's very difficult to trace back to the production capacity of these frozen food items. The third one I would say is the food security, the point which I mentioned before. Since the consumers were not aware about how to handle these things, there were cases where the contamination of frozen food items that led to another perspective that is not healthy. So as and when these education programs become more prominent, they gain more footage within the consumer base, I think these issues will get resolved. Infrastructure is one thing which is in bits and pieces. It has been getting resolved. Now we are also building the cold supply chain where the digitally enabled and integrated systems together, they give end-to-end visibility plus the trust and confidence to the brands, how we are handling the frozen food by moving from point A to point B.
Yeah. So, to sum up these challenges, these are the only challenges, or you think that in the health industry, doctors play a critical role, when it comes to this kind of an awareness. And I think that's a kind of a fraternity again, which needs to get convinced first, because the problem, apart from, the consumer having that kind of a mindset, it's about the preservatives that is included in the frozen food. So,
Right. So
yeah.
like, so the frozen technology, how do you freeze a food? It's nature's pause button, and the point at which the pause happens, the intent is to keep it, preserve the nutritions and the quality of the food as it is until the time it gets thawed. Okay, now this technology has evolved over time, and when it comes to the point that you brought up, the doctors and medical advisors, how they see end of the day, they have been the consumers at certain point of time, and they realize the fact that once the food gets frozen with the right quality, the right process with the right technique, it stays frozen. Okay, and if the mishandling doesn't happen with this particular item, then the nutrition power of this particular food stays intact. It remains untouched. So there are preservatives, but end of the day, you see that all the items that we consume, whether at home or we are outside, it will have the certain things to keep it fresh. Right now, that is nothing to do with how the food gets frozen. Right, so frozen food with the right process, with the right technique to freeze it, it's the pause button for all the nutritions. And if it is handled well, it is within the security and safety policies of the frozen food category. It stays, it restores and retains all the nutrition power.
Absolutely. So, cold chain management is critical for maintaining the quality and safety of frozen food products. How are technological innovations such as Internet of Things and real-time monitoring systems leveraged to enhance cold chain management practices in the frozen food industry?
Right. So, see, there are a lot of technological innovations that have happened, and believe me, they are absolutely needed to ensure, or say, reinstate the trust and credibility on the cold supply chain. The sensors, the IoT, devices, they help us a lot in recording the temperature and humidity, so that we take care of the temperature breaches and take the right set of actions when there is a breach. Okay. They give us the continuous monitoring of all the assets that we have at the store level, at the warehouse level. One other technology which I would like to mention here is the blockchain, which gives the data visibility right from the source to the consumption. And I think this food blockchain will gain a lot of traction in the future. As of now, we are only seeing the food blockchain getting implemented only in certain categories. For example, if you buy, for example, fruits, the fruits earlier days, it used to be on push carts, or maybe over the time the supermarket culture came in. But now the packaged fruits come in, and you get to know that, okay, this particular fruit is coming from this farm and how it has traveled. You get to see that information. The same version of blockchain will gain prominence in future when it comes to frozen. So you get to see the end-to-end visibility, that who was the first one to put a hand on this item, how was this packaged, who has insured, who has audited, and how it has traveled. So the consumers, when you and me get these items at home, we get to see the entire timeline of how this item has traveled all the way from its source to you. So this technology, as we speak, is getting mature. But in future, this will become one of the talking point in everyone's home, that how do we know what's a trace back of this particular food item, what we are consuming right now.
Yeah, sure. So let's talk more about FroGo as a organization, playing a critical role in frozen food market in the distribution. So when was this brand launched? I mean, FroGo was launched, and it was pre-COVID or during COVID or after COVID. And if it was before COVID, then what kind of impact COVID has made on the business, especially when it comes to frozen food, and also how is FroGo leveraging technology and innovation to deliver customer experience to differentiate from the competition. So these are 4, 5 things, we would like to know about FroGo.
Yes, sure. So FroGo was founded in 2022. It was post-COVID venture. And so we didn't see that how the consumer or how the industry and the company changed in that during that COVID. So we are post-COVID kids of this startup in India. We are still growing at an early stage, and we take a lot of pride, carry the sense of pride of the difference we are making in the cold supply chain and infrastructure in India. We are helping brands in scaling up and being their growth partner in the Delhi NCR region. As of now, we are present there. And, we operate out of 30 plus dark stores, and, we have our central point warehouse. And these are all digitally connected. Now, however, the role technology plays in our day-to-day business is all of these things that we do are all digitally integrated. And that serves us two things. One is the processes that we build are standard in nature, are standardized. So whether I use certain piece of this process or the process chain, or someone else comes and uses, it's going to be the same. It's not that I use it differently or someone else who comes in the value process chain uses it differently. So that productization of all these processes helps us in, building the standard process. And number two, the adherence to this process becomes quite critical. Like when you have that toll gate type of process, that one step is done and then someone else gets a trigger to perform the next set of steps. So this gets all connected in the digitally enabled supply chain. Second thing, in how do we use technology for customer experience? We have created virtual app shards for our brand partners so that they get end-to-end data visibility on what are we doing in terms of inventory, in terms of stock, in terms of sales, in terms of movement of items from one store to another. These are all digitally made visible and available for everyone to access. And that gives that transparency of data, gives the sense of credibility on what we are doing in terms of services for these brands. Now, data plays a quite a critical role in our day-to-day business. How do we maximize the productivity of a particular store? Depends a lot on data. The items, the frozen food items, the ice cream brands that we work with, we analyze their movement, their demand forecasting, and that's how we are able to stock our dark stores far much better than simply dumping the stock at one particular store. Okay, so the demand forecasting, the movement of items, the cycle count, that helps us to better replenish and, stacking and organization of items at the store level. So that's where the technology plus the data plays a very critical role for entire team to come together and plan these activities much better at the store level.
Yeah. So how is FroGo, having a footprint in terms of the business achievements over the last 12 to 18 months? And what are the expansion plans, especially, as you said that presently in Delhi, then I think frozen food has a much bigger market outside India than in India.
India is coming a big time with the frozen food consumption, and the trends that we observed were phenomenal. We had customer base who would come and tell us that these are the brands that we should be stocking up, because we have varieties of flavors, and every time I don't want to go out and eat, or I don't want to order outside. So these frozen food brands would have end-to-end meal, right from the breakfast all the way to the dinner, plus your, I know, late time ice creams as well. All these things will come as frozen, and we have customers who would love these, the variety of flavors, the affordability, plus the convenience at their home door delivery. So coming to the point of how are we spread out, we are currently operating from 4 states. We have our dark store network spread across Delhi, Haryana, northern UP, the Noida and Ghaziabad, and then we have started Punjab as well. So this is now we are in the start of season, summer season, and that gives an extra edge, the upper edge for the brands to come over and make themselves online and visible to the customer the span of 3 to 4 days maximum. That's what. And had it been the case when you have to start and put those bricks and mortars systems and make yourself visible, that takes good amount of time and effort and capital, everything. But with us, brands are happily expanding to more than 80% of the pin codes in Delhi NCR plus Punjab in the span of 3 days. Now, in the future expansion plans, I think we would love to move to the aspirational cities where there is a demand, but something might have not reached or the infrastructure was not built, so they were sort of underserved. We want to expand and give them this capabilities of how frozen food can help them elevate their lifestyle and can promote the convenience in their day-to-day life.
Acha. So, who are your marquee customers at present? And also, we'd like to know that what are your expansion plans I'm sorry, the investment plans in technology for next 2 years? Yeah.
So we work with the pan-Asia, pan-India brands like Amul, Quality Walls, have more. Plus, a lot of D2C brands like Getaway. We had Shark Tank India brands as well, like Skippy, Getaways there. Then the upcoming organic and healthy ice cream brands like Noto is there, and then Iceberg organic ice creams. So we maintain that mix of brands that we serve, and and that gives us a lot of confidence because we are able to match and cater to that scale, which an Indian at the the national brand demands, as well as the growth and marketing engine which a D2C brand demands. So we are happily positioned with the number of brands that we work with. Of course, at the start of the season, we are eyeing on onboarding as many brands as we can and give them those and be their growth partner and make them reach in front of their customers and be visible whenever they need. Second question on the technological advancements. So of course we have been continuously working on making sure that data is intact. Data holds the key in this business. Obviously, it was sort of an unseen factor or say untouched area in this supply chain and logistics till now. So that we will continue to try to make sure that data is sent out and made visible transparently in the right format to the right consumers. Number two is we are very ambitious about implementing food blockchain. And that will only happen when the data sanity and data is available in the right format. So as we speak, we are trying to sink in and make sure that the data discipline is rightly set, and the building blocks of blockchain are getting ready as we speak. So we would be very ambitious to implement the food blockchain, especially for the frozen food and the cold chain category in our business in future. The third thing which I would talk about is how do we ensure the awareness about the frozen food to our consumers. So we might think about having a small piece of an offline store which acts as an experience center and awareness center for the consumers. And this will in fact help the brands to gather confidence of the consumers instead of making a perspective by sitting at home and surfing these things online, towards Zomato or Swiggy or any other online channel. Yeah, so that's the technological advancements that we are eyeing in the next, say, 18 to 24 months from now.
All right. So thank you so much, Saurabh, for sharing your invaluable insights and expertise on how technology is an enabler in frozen food business and the vision of FroGo as an emerging leader in this domain. It has been an enlightening discussion. So that's all the time we have for today. Thank you to our viewers for tuning in. Stay tuned for more thought-provoking discussions on CXO TV.
For more updates from CXO TV, please like and subscribe to our channel.